As a leader, you know a lot. The real question is, what are you doing about what you know? Tonight, we're closing out the series Leadership Gaps by talking about the gap between knowing and doing. This is a 30. Let's get started. Well, hello there, gang. Welcome to the 30. Thank you for joining me on this another episode of the 30. It's been a great series. This is the third week or the third episode of this series. And today we are talking about the gap between knowing and doing. The 30 is a space for a meaningful conversation designed to support personal, professional, and leadership growth. Thank you for joining me. Of course, the 30 is a production of the Jackman Group LLC, a leadership and development organization dedicated to developing leaders, strengthening teams, and helping organizations execute with clarity, alignment, and impact. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We celebrate 6 years on the 30. We started back in April of 2020. So this is our 6 years of bringing this to you. And I want to thank you. We couldn't be doing this for 6 years if there was no you, if there was no support from you. So thank you for those that have stuck around with us for the past 6 years. Thank you. And those of you that are finding about us for the very first time, thank you for watching. Do me a huge favor, like and comment on this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That will be awesome. Tonight, as I said, we are wrapping up the Leadership Gaps series. We started with the first episode, the gap between information and transformation. Then we talk about the gap between growth and isolation. And tonight, we close with one that touches every leader at some point, the gap between knowing and doing. Friends, here is the thing. Most of us as leaders, we don't struggle because we don't know enough. We struggle because we know what has to get done, but we don't do it consistently. That's one of our struggles, and that the gap matters. So that's what we are going to be talking about, because leadership is not ultimately measured by what we know, but it's measured by what we do, what we practice doing. So we live in a time, folks, today, this time we live in a time where we, as I said on last episode, where we have access to a lot. We have access to more than we've ever had previously. We have access to more books. We have access to more podcasts. We have access to more trainings. We have access to more articles, to more research. We have access to more content like this. And all of that is helpful. All of that is great. But knowledge by itself does not change leaders. It does not change us as leaders. See, awareness by itself does not strengthen culture. Insight by itself does not improve communication. And good ideas by themselves certainly do not transform teams. So that's one of the reasons that this gap is so important. See, as leaders, some of us know exactly what healthy leadership looks like. We know, we've gone through it. We've experienced good leaders. We've experienced great leaders. And we've experienced not so good leaders. And if you are a leader yourself, sometimes you're great, sometimes you're good, sometimes you're exceptional, and other times is left to be desired. We also know we need to be more effective in our communication. We know that. We know that we need to be a better communicator, whether it is in speaking or written. We also know that we need to listen more. We know that we need to address issues sooner. Some of us, we don't like conflict. We would run away from conflict as soon as it come up. We would run away from issues. We don't want to deal with them. And we also know that we need to be more intentional in the things that we do. But here's the key. Knowing and doing are not the same thing. I'll say that again. Knowing and doing is certainly not the same thing. See, one of the dangers in leadership is mistaking awareness for progress. Just because we know it does not mean that we're living it. I'll say that again. Just because we know it does not mean that we are living it. So, friends, here is the million-dollar question for all of us as leaders. If we know so much, why do we still delay action? Why? That is something for you to answer. That is something for all of us to answer. If we know so much, why do we delay applying what we know or what we've learned? I'll be very interested to hear your response. Go ahead and drop that in the chat. If you know so much, what is the reason that you delay application or implementation? Drop that in the chat or send us an email. I would love to hear what your answers are. See, I did some research on my own, and here's what I found from this million-dollar question about if we know so much, why do we still delay action? And here are some things that I know personally, and I've also researched and found. See, sometimes it's about fear of change, fear of doing something differently, the fear of failing. We don't like to fail, but I love what Zig Ziglar said. He says, failure is an event, it's not a person, right? But we still are fearful. Fear of failing in our attempt, fear of what action might require. We may actually have to do some work. Sometimes it takes us out of our comfort zone, right? We may know something, but in order to get to where we need to get to, we may have to change. So it's easier to stay in the familiar. It feels good, but it doesn't feel good when we step out into the uncomfortable. Another reason that we don't apply what we've learned is sometimes we tend to overthink it. Some of us wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions. Everything has to line up. All the apples have to be ripe. Everything has to be perfect for us in order for us to move. And while we're waiting, the moment to act keeps moving. So there's no perfect time. So if that is you that's waiting because you're overthinking things, my advice to you is stop overthinking. And as Nike used to say in their ad, just do it. Don't overthink, just do it. Just do. But here's the thing, sometimes it's also this. We tend to stay in learn mode. We become professional students or professional learners. We tend to stay in a learn mode. We keep taking in information. We keep listening. We keep reading. We keep researching. We also keep thinking. And while we're doing that, things change. We never cross the line from thinking, from processing, from listening. We never cross the line from doing those things into action, from putting things into action, from closing the gap from knowing into doing. Friends, growth can get delayed not only by ignorance, but by hesitation. So as opposed to hesitating, we need to do. So we talked about all the reasons why we don't do. We stay in learn, we stay in hesitation mode. But I want to walk through with you now, because if there's a gap, our responsibility is to close the gap. We don't want to have just the gap being there. We want to close the gap. We want to take some action so that we can go from where we are to where we desire to be and where we should be. So how do we actually close the gap from knowing and doing? Number one here is action. We just got to do. We can't wait anymore. We got to do. The time for waiting is done. It's gone. The time for processing and just thinking and overthinking and being fearful and staying in our comfort zone, those times are gone, because while you're doing that, others are putting things into action. They're working. They're surpassing you while you're thinking, while you're processing. So the thing is, one of the things that we must do is put things into action. We must demonstrate discipline and practice. We must be accountable. And here's the key. We must demonstrate true consistency. I did a piece on this in terms of success some time back. And what I look at and I studied is that those that are truly successful are those that demonstrate true consistency. They set a goal, set an objective, put a strategy together, put the action steps together, and they execute. And they remain consistent through ups and downs. They remain consistent. They demonstrate tremendous consistency. See, friends, real leadership growth begins when a leader decides, number one, I'm not just going to agree with what was said or what I've read. I'm actually going to take the step from agreeing to doing. I'm going to apply it. I'm not just going to admire that principle. I'm going to practice it. I'm not just going to say this matters. I'm going to build it in how I lead. So we're talking about moving and closing the gap from knowing to doing. And this is why intentional environments matter so much, because doing is easier to talk about. It's easy, but we actually must do it. See, leaders often need the right room. And you Heard me talk about this on last week, being in the right room, having the right challenge, having people around you that challenge you. That's just not yes people, but individuals that challenge you. So we need the right room, the right challenge. We need to be part of the right community, of course. And we need the right structures and systems to help us move from knowing to actually doing. That is where real growth takes shape. That is the beginning of real growth. When you make the decision that I am sick of being sick, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, I'm sick of being just waiting, I'm sick and tired of just knowing, I am going to move from know to do. I'm going to close that gap with intention, and I'm going to do it right now. If you need help, if you need assistance in doing that, let us know. See, we here at the Jackman Group, one of the things that we care deeply about is helping leaders stay connected to meaningful growth beyond a single conversation. We want to help you. If there are barriers that's stopping you from going from know to do, we want to partner with you to help you, whatever that barrier is. And that's why we're continuing to build ways for leaders, professionals, entrepreneurs, and those that are growing into leadership to stay connected. Whether you are a tenured leader or emerging leader, or you would like to get into the space of leadership, we want to help you. We want to assist you in helping you from going from good to great to exceptional. We are one of the things that we just, and you will see it on next week if you have subscribed to our newsletter, and it's there's no cost for it, right? I'll put the link in this description. And one of the things that we're doing next week, we are going to roll out our brand new newsletter. You would love it. It's called MPACT Leaders Report. And we're going to provide insights, leadership insights, updates, encouragement. That's one of the things that we're going to be doing. And that launches on on Tuesday. So if you are already a member, if you've already subscribed to our newsletter, we would love to hear your feedback. It will be launched this coming Tuesday. And we would love to hear from you and give us feedback as to what you think. It's going to be a space where we'll continue sharing all of our experience. Well, not all of it, but we'll share some leadership insights. We'll share updates. As I said, we'll encourage you, but it's designed, the primary reason is to help people like yourself grow intentionally. So be on a lookout for that. Also coming up in, I think, May 28th, if you are in the Rochester, New York area, we invite you to join us for our leaders. This is the second time that we'll do this. Our Entrepreneurs and Leaders Connect. And that's happening. That's an in-person event, May 30th. It's an opportunity to gather and build relationships and stay connected in community and conversations that matter. And for those of you that are virtual, that are across the country, this great country, across the world, we are not forgetting about you. We're going to continue this year, starting July 8th. It is our Impact Leaders Masterclass Wednesday, every Wednesday from, I think it's from 11:30 to, I think it's 12:30. But that is July 8th through August 5th. Stay tuned. There's more information to come on that. So we want to help you. If you are a tenured leader, a current leader that's looking to grow, or an emerging leader, join us. Join us on this journey, because growth does not happen because you heard something once. Growth is strengthened when you stay engaged in the right environment, in the right community, in the right room, in the right space. So, folks, as we prepare to end, we always bring you a moment of reflection. So I leave you with this question tonight. Where is the gap between knowing and doing showing up in your leadership? Where's the gap between knowing and doing showing up in your leadership right now? What have you done to close that gap? What conversation do you know you need to have? And what shift do you know you need to make? What is it? What action will you take to close the gap from knowing to doing? Because the gap does not exist or does not close because you admire good leadership. It's not going to close because you watch this episode. It's not going to close because you subscribe to our newsletter. It's not going to close because you are one of our mentees or one of our coachees, because you hire us as a coach or you sit in one of our training sessions. Not going to close because of those things. We will help you, or we'll facilitate it for you. We'll inspire you. But you also going to have to take action. You're going to have to do something. In order for the gap to close, you will have to be intentional in taking action and closing that gap and going from know to do. So, folks, I want to thank you for being here. This has been a 3-part series of leadership gaps, and I hope you found this beneficial. If you do me a huge favor, send us an email or drop us a comment. Our email address is info@jackmangroup.llc.com. That's info@jackmangroup.llc.com. Drop us a comment right here on this episode if you're watching it live or if you're watching it in replay. Thank you so much. As I leave you, I want to leave you with this. The gap between information and transformation, the gap between growth and isolation, the gap between knowing and doing requires action from you. Thank you. We will see you at another episode of The 30. May God bless you and keep you. May He wrap His arms around you. I will see you next week. God bless.